And as if Joe Biden's handling of COVID wasn't bad enough, look at what he has done to totally botch the American economy. When Trump was president, we were bringing manufacturing home. We were raising the wages of our fellow Americans. There was capital investment in American businesses. We were ambitious. We were forward-leaning. Things were going great for our country until China exploded this bioweapon of coronavirus onto the world. And now we see Bidenflation. All the money you've worked for in your life is worth less. If you're a farmer and you've got contracts, you're going to be paid with money that's worth less and less under those contracts. The stuff you buy is going to cost more. You know what? If printing money made your nation stronger, Zimbabwe would be the most powerful country in the world, but it doesn't, and they're not. I believe in sound money, auditing the Fed, making sure that Washington isn't able to just paper over the dreams of the American people and the ambitions of the American people. These lockdowns and this just printing of money, it's really an attack on blue-collar America from Joe Biden. Oh, he wants to act like he's middle-class Joe from Scranton, if he even remembers where he's from anymore. But the things that the Biden policies are doing, they destroy the budgets of American families. Look at gas prices. They're through the roof. You got to account for that every month at the kitchen table when you're doing your family budget. You know, you look at food on the table. You know, families want to travel, take a vacation. They've made all of that less possible. They've made the American dream of home ownership far more difficult to achieve. And look at this infrastructure bill they've got. Have you seen that in this infrastructure bill, they are starting the process of a government-imposed per-mile tax on the American people where they monitor where you go? I mean, is it just me, or does government keep getting a lot nosier? You know, and by the way, if you live in the Acela corridor, or if you live in Nancy Pelosi's district, or if you're one of, you know, the highly densely concentrated Chuck Schumer voters, that might be okay for you. But if you're like the rest of us, out here in regular America, a per-mile charge is insanity, and we must fight against it. Speaking of nosiness, we must reject these vaccine mandates with everything they have, whether they come from big government or big business. I mean, you know, and I've heard the neo-libertarian argument, well, we can't tell businesses what to do. If businesses want to do vaccine mandates, we just have to let them. Hogwash! These businesses relied on you during this pandemic. They got PPP loans. They benefited from Fed policy. So the very businesses that relied on your generosity, on your strength as a country, should not be able to turn that against the American people and to create two classes of citizens within our nation. If they do this, if they get these vaccine passports, it will be proof that Big Pharma totally owns this country. And, you know, watch your favorite news show or your least favorite news show, and then count how many commercials are from pharmaceutical companies. And, oh, you know, it's like, it's all the same one, right? They're like in the two bathtubs, or they're swinging on the swings, or walking through the meadows. And then there's that voiceover, may cause internal bleeding, abdominal bowel syndrome, death, pimples, death. You could have just stopped there. There are multiple lobbyists for the pharmaceutical industry for every single member of the United States Congress and the Senate. And if you think that doesn't impact the policies that are passed, then you're not paying attention. And if you don't think that Big Pharma buying all these ads on corporate media doesn't inform their coverage, then frankly, you're not paying attention, because that is exactly what is happening. They have far too much power, and frankly, all the special interests in Washington do. I mean, when I got to Washington, I was horrified at the extent to which power was traded based on how much money you could raise from the lobbyists and the PACs. I told you how much I love the military, and when I first got to Congress, the leadership sat me down and said, well, you want to be on the Armed Services Committee? That'll be $75,000. I thought, well, is anybody here wearing a wire? It sort of sounded like a shakedown. But that's how it works up there. That's how it works. And so I got sick of it. Marjorie got sick of it, and I am proud to announce to you that Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz are the only two Republicans in Congress who do not take any corporate PAC money.